Hey, what's up guys, it's Lee and welcome back to the channel. Now, I recently made a video about the Sony Fx30 and I talked to you guys about what I liked about the camera and kind of like how I was using it in the past year or so. But one of the things that I wanted to touch on a bit more is the lenses that I typically use on the Sony Fx30. And so that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. I'm going to talk to you guys about what I love about the lenses. I'm going to talk to you guys about how I use the lenses. And then finally, how you might actually use these lenses as well, or how it might benefit you depending on the projects that you're currently working on. And then by the way, this is going to be from the perspective of a video creator, somebody who makes videos on YouTube and other places as well. And so that's kind of the perspective I'm going to give you guys. The very first lens I'm going to talk to you guys about is actually a lens that I feel like a lot of people online have been talking about for quite a while. And so there are numerous videos on this particular lens, but of course now it's my turn to talk about this lens and why I love it so much. But that lens is the Sigma 16mm f1.4 DCDN lens. This is probably the first aps-c lens that I bought for the Sony ecosystem. And, you know, it's really for a reason. This is just a phenomenal lens. I did a lot of research when I first got this lens, and I figured this would be the best one for me, especially making videos like this here on YouTube. So right now, for instance, I'm using my FX3 with the 24-70, but this is a 16mm on an aps-c lens. And what I love about it is that it is the equivalent of a 24mm lens, right? If we're talking about full frame. So that's one of the main things I like about it, because it's a wide angle lens, right? And it's going to basically show you kind of like the environment. So for instance, right now, obviously this is not the 16 that I'm using right now, but it's basically the same perspective. You can see everything in the background. You can see the lamps, you can see the walls, you can see everything in this actual shot. And so that's one of the main things I love about it, because I am doing a lot of talking head videos like this, but you know, I don't want it to be too boring. And so I want to create practicals in the background and things that are interesting, you know, in the video itself. So that's the very first thing I love about this lens. The second, of course, is that it does open up to a f1.4 aperture, which is another reason why I love this lens, because it lets in a lot of light. And so it really gives me a lot more flexibility, especially when it comes down to working with my studio lights or my ambient light. You have a lot of flexibility with it. So that's another reason why I really love it. And then of course the 1.4 aperture, I mean, you can't really complain about that. You get the nice creamy background that everyone, you know, loves as well. And then, you know, obviously from time to time, guys, you're going to want to shoot thumbnails and different photos and things like that. And the FX30, while it's not a camera, right? It's not really made for that, but you can take photos on it. And this also really makes this even more of a, you know, useful camera, right? Because now you can take thumbnail photos that look great, right? Because there's 26 megapixels on this camera. And that's another thing that I love about it. Guys, so this is what the Sigma 16mm f1.4 DCDN lens looks like. Again, you're able to see a lot more of the background. You can tell where I'm at. Again, you can tell that I'm in my office. I also was able to add some nice practical lights in the background as well, so you guys can kind of see, you know, to kind of keep the frame a little bit interesting, right? Which is exactly what you would want for a talking head video, because again, you're just talking at the camera. So you wanted to keep it fresh and exciting and new, and you want to create interest in your videos as well. And what better way to do that than to show a little bit more of that background, throw in some practical lighting there, and just have at it with your video. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about how you might actually use this lens as well, right? So for you, if you are shooting YouTube videos just like this one, again, it's going to be really great for talking head videos just like this one. You can sit this up on a tripod and, you know, shoot at a park, and you can kind of walk a little further away. It's a wide angle lens. It's going to capture a lot. There's going to be a lot going on that people can see in the frame of this shot. So that's the first thing. Definitely going to be great for that. Also, this lens is really cool when you do vertical content as well. So I definitely highly recommend it for that, because again, you're capturing a lot in the actual shot because it's a wide angle lens. But at the same time, you know, it's high quality, right? And so that's another way that you might use it, especially if you shoot a lot of TikTok or Instagram Reels. This could be the lens for you, primarily because of the wide angle, and then also because of the low aperture of this actual lens. You're going to get a nice background and your shots are going to look really nice and professional and high quality. And by the way, if you are enjoying this video, hit the like button for me. And if you haven't already subscribed, I definitely would love for you to do so. On this channel, I do camera gear and tech reviews for creators on this channel. So if that sounds like something that is right up your alley, definitely hit the subscribe button for me. All right, so now let's talk about the next lens on this list, and that is the Sigma 30mm f1.4 DCDN lens. Again, this is a phenomenal lens, and I got this lens as sort of like a second lens to the 16mm lens, right? Because these lenses are a bit different. So we talked a little bit about what the equivalent would be for perspective wise, right? For these lenses, if you think about what they would look like with a full frame camera, right? And so this one at 30mm is probably going to be about, you know, a 45mm lens equivalent. So maybe about close to 50 basically, which is closer to what our eyes see, right? So this lens is a great lens because it gets a little bit tighter in on shots, right? You can get a little bit more close up. The background, well, with a wider angle lens, sometimes you do get a little bit of distortion, right? In terms of like longer limbs or things like that. If you get too close, this one doesn't really do that. It has a little bit better compression than the 16mm lens. You're gonna obviously have to have this a little bit further away from you as well because it has a little bit more reach. But you know, the video that you capture out of this is really good, high quality. Again, f1.4, so you're getting a lot of light in your videos. And then also one of the other things that I really enjoy about this lens too is that it's really good to kind of like punch in, right? If you need to, you know, show off something a little bit closer up, you can actually do that with this lens. One of the ways that I use this lens a lot is I rig it up above me here on a C-stand, and I actually record top-down shots like that. And so this lens has really come in handy in that respect because it gets a lot closer in. This is what the Sigma 30mm f1.4 lens looks like. Again, like I said earlier, this is a little bit of a tighter shot, right? It's going to be a little bit more of an intimate kind of shot, right? It's a lot closer in, you know, I'm talking to you, you know, I'm like taking up most of your screen, right? But at the same time, you're able to see a little bit about what's kind of happening behind me as well, which again makes it a pretty useful, you know, lens as well, because again, it kind of just gives you a different feel and different perspective to the videos that you're having. I think if you are going to be making videos that are talking head videos, if you are going to use a shot like this, obviously you want to be able to draw in the viewer. You want to be talking about something that they're very interested in. You want to keep their attention by letting them know what's going to be happening next. And you can do that because you're a lot closer and you can kind of lean in a little bit more and you can have that conversation. But if you are in a wider sort of shot, it's a little bit more difficult to do that, but you can utilize that wider frame to show off different items, whether or not you're talking about different lenses or camera gear or whatever it is. And so they both have kind of a different use case, but you can kind of weave them into the videos that you're creating because they create a different look and feel. Now, also, I can slide my chair back a bit. And again, you get a little bit more of the background in terms of a little bit less blurriness, right? Because the closer I get, the more blurry it's going to be. One of the things I wanted to highlight as well with this lens, which is something that you're going to notice with any kind of lens that kind of moves towards that telephoto focal length. And this is, again, not a telephoto lens. I wouldn't consider it that. But once you start getting closer, one of the other things you want to notice too is the background gets a little bit larger. So the higher up you go, the larger the background is going to get. And of course, it's going to create more compression, and that background is going to get a little bit more blurry and creamy as well. So you see a little tiny bit of that happening when you compare this lens from the, you know, Sigma 16mm f1.4. So just want to highlight that for you guys as well. But now hopefully you can kind of see the difference. And then obviously the way that I shoot my videos here on YouTube, now you probably understand why I sit at my desk with the 16 a lot more often than I might shoot, you know, a tighter shot like this. Now for you, in terms of like how you might use this lens, again, as a creator, I would say number one, again, more intimate sort of conversational talking head videos, right? It's going to be great for that. If you want to get in a little bit closer on certain shots, it's going to be great. So if you have a channel that you have, and let's say you're sketching, you're doing art, you need some kind of top-down shot, this is a great lens for that because it gets close enough for you and you don't have to worry about it being too wide or having too much in the actual shot. And then also finally, we talked a little bit about photos before, but again, this is a lens that gets you a bit closer to that 50mm focal length when you think about like a full frame lens. And so I would also say that this is going to be a great camera to actually take some maybe product shots with, or just do some really cool thumbnails with as well. I found this lens to be very versatile in that respect, which is saying a lot because it's a prime lens, right? And it's a fixed lens. And so there's that, right? And so that's really why I love these lenses, right? Now, in terms of, other lenses that I think would be great, one in particular that I think is phenomenal for video that I don't own, and maybe one day I will, it's the Sigma 18 to 35 f1.8. And what's great about that lens is that you get a lot of the versatility that you have with the 16 and the 30mm lens here that we're talking about. And then you also get, an f1.8 aperture, which is, pretty good, right? Because you're getting, again, a lot of light into your lens. And that just really, again, adds to the versatility of the lens itself. And so that's another lens that I would definitely keep my eye on if I were you as well, if you don't already own it. So again, I wanted to share that because that's kind of one of those other lenses that's kind of been floating out there that I've thought about perhaps maybe getting one day. But for now, I think that these lenses I have suit me, perfectly fine. And so I think I'm good for now. Now, I do want to hear from you guys in the comments below. So let me know what are some lenses that work really well for you with your Sony FX30 as well. I'm really eager to know, like, again, what's working well for you. Like, how are you guys actually using the lenses? What are some lenses that maybe you have your eye on as well? Definitely would love to hear from you guys because, again, different perspectives for different use cases, different projects that you guys may be working on. I'm definitely down to hear how you guys are using it. Now, I definitely appreciate you guys for watching this video. Very few people make it all the way through to the very end of these videos. So thank you for being here. And if you are here, definitely hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button for me for more videos just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.